Autumn Dector, and my presentation is about the strong women that played parts in my family history. During my speech, I would like you to think about two things. What do you know about your family history, and what does it mean to you? Do you ever associate what you plan for the future with things that you or your family have experienced in the past, and how so? At the end, if you would like to share, please do so. There are many interesting parts of my family tree. There are women who have escaped certain death, and women who have produced comedy documentaries. I hope that you all find my family history as unique and inspirational as I do. Fun fact. Did you know that kids who know more about their families tend to be less rebellious? The recent research on logic says that kids who have stories to draw back to will make them feel as though they're a part of something bigger than just themselves. Ever have dreams of producing your own movie, meeting actresses like Ellen DeGeneres and Whoopi Goldberg? My grandfather's cousin, Gail Singer, did just that. She made the hilarious documentary Wisecracks. Wisecracks is a comedy documentary that highlights the fact that women comedians are often treated differently to their male counterparts, and that they still must fight at least twice as hard to be successful in this community. I'm so proud to tell you that Gail Singer, my second cousin, produced the movie that helped my favorite actresses become who they are in society today. Can you imagine being 9 years old and being pulled out of school to do chores? I hate doing the dishes. But my great-great-grandmother, Mary Hammonds, did only have a third-grade education, so she could help her parents pick cotton on their cotton fields. And not just chores, but when you pick cotton, it literally tears your fingers apart. Can you imagine being 9 years old and forced to work for your food and water? She didn't have money for a single nice toy or dress. In fact, Mary Hammonds' granddaughter, my grandma, only had money for 4 dresses, one for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and on Friday she wore the same dress again. Mary was married at 16 and had her first kid at 17. Later, she had 4 more children. She lived in a 3-room house with the bathrooms all the way across the cotton fields. Actually, Mary Hammonds was so poor that they barely have any records of her life. All the information I have received is directly from the memory of my grandmother, aunts, and uncles. So whenever you want something or complain about doing chores, think of my great-great-grandmother, Mary Hammonds. Would you do anything for your sibling? I'm pretty sure all of us have to think about that one. Mary and Samuel were twins who cared about each other very much. In fact, Mary cared for her brother so much that when he was sent to prison for rebelling against the government and was set to be killed 2 days later, Mary Blair was so brave she was willing to die to save her brother's life. She was permitted one last visit to her brother, and when she did, she urged him to trade clothes with her in order to sneak out parading as herself. The next day, as she was being carried out to take the fate presumably meant for her brother, she showed them that she was in fact not her brother, but herself. The king, who was presumably astonished and furious, looked at her and told her that he wished he had a sister who cared for him as much as she did her brother, and set her free. And though they never met again, when Mary died, she was Samuel's savior. Do you ever wonder what your life would be like if you made one small different choice? If you took a plane instead of a car, would you have gotten into a car accident? Little choices and coincidences make up our life today, especially in the case of my great-grandmother, Gwen Daniels. Gwen and her 5 kids were planning on going from New York to London. As they were rushing to get their boat, they had a lucky run-in with fate when they missed the Lusitania, the famous boat that killed nearly 1,198 people. If they hadn't missed their boat, I probably wouldn't be standing here today. How brave do you think you would be in the face of real danger? Would you save yourself, your family, or your friends? Would you run, or would you stand tall and protect your loved ones? I love the fact that my great-grandmother, Antoinetta d'Alessandro, never ran away from danger. Tony was born and raised in Naples, Italy, during World War II. And during World War II, her and her family were in hiding from the German soldiers. One night, she went out to the orchard to pick apples when she was caught by a young soldier. Filled with fright, she looked into his eyes and realized that he was no older than her. It dawned on her that he was realizing the same thing. And in that moment, they were enlightened to the same thing, that every human is not so different after all, and that both, regardless of ethnic or religious backgrounds, were simply stuck fighting for their lives in a war that neither could escape. He released the pressure of his gun on her neck, and she ran back to her parents to relive the story. In fact, this story has been relived many times. I got this story from my Nonna, which is Italian for grandma, and she has heard this story many times firsthand from her mother. I hope that someday I can use the braveness she possessed and use it in my own life. In my own life. In conclusion, I have learned many things about my family, from ethnic and religious backgrounds to the ability to make a movie. I am so proud to be standing here today and relive the story of the strong women in my family tree. Has anyone reflected on my question, what do you know about your family history and what does it mean to you? Would anyone like to share? Thank you.